G'day and welcome back to Stitch Up and another episode of Planet Coaster and the Studios Pack. And so we're going to do a couple of different things. We're changing it up every episode. So in this episode, and of course we've discovered grass. So grass has been put through the park and I'm very, very excited. So just under all these garden beds here, we can see that the grass is looking fabulous. And even here, it sort of softens it. And when you take a look at the park from real bird's eye view, you can see that these sections are starting to look finished. And I think the grass differentiates the lovely desert setting. So I think that's good. Just doing a little tour here, and we're going to do a couple of different things. So we'll do a little tour at the moment. We're just having a look around the whole bird's eye view and just having a quick look over. So this is where the backlot tour interacts with what's going to be our lovely new ride section, and we're about to sort of get into this and build that. But down here, we've got our fountain, and I think in the next episode I'm going to do a monorail, but I don't think it's going to be a monorail that you guys are expecting. Might be slightly different. But yeah, this fountain needs work. It needs a bit of greenery there, and we'll do that at some point. This bridge will be a stone bridge, and the land will be brought in a little bit so that it's only straight bridge, not curved. The approaches to the bridges will be curved, but not the rest. So this is the area that I'm going to work on today, and we're going to go into a time lapse of this, and then I'll step you through exactly what I'm thinking with this. But this is a little flat ride area. I want another ride here. I want to put a bit of effort into the decoration of the ride, and I want to tie it into the ride just directly to the right of it. So yeah, we'll jump into a speed build here. Cheers. So welcome straight into that speed build. And so I've decided to put in a little flat ride. I want to continue along with, the original idea was to put in a group of 4 flat rides, and I thought I'll tuck that in that little left bit as you go around the path towards the log flume. And as it turns out, there's barely room for 1 flat ride. Actually, I think there's just the right amount of room for this flat ride. This one's really cool. I like the theming of it. It's the, it's got, look, I'll find out the name, I'll report back, but it's got that lady who's a bit mermaidy, a bit purple, and she's got like a, I don't know, like a sort of Neptune's fork kind of thing happening. And and she's a little bit Ursula or something. But I think it's a Planet Coaster one, but I like it because it's a little bit themey. It's very theme park. So yeah, we've got the ride raised a little bit because we want to start playing with heights. And then what I've done is I've gone ahead and built this path at grade level, so as the guest would approach it. So I think that kind of works out. I even like how this curved staircase tucks in there. That kind of works really nicely. We'll now put in an exit path, but we'll head off in the other direction for the exit path. So the guests would enter via the new theme park section heading towards a log flume, and they will exit kind of near the Cityscape Studios backlot tour ending bit, but the whole cityscape that we've got going on there. So it's like that visual cityscape as you enter the park. You see that city at the end, behind the main fountain. This is this area. So we play around with the pathings here a little bit, and we'll come back and fix this. I do have plans for this little intersection here where I've just put the exit path in. I do have some grand plans for that, and I'll take you through those a little bit later, but I've got a nice little idea here. And so now what we're doing, and yes, I think it's memories of my last park, but I am terraforming here. So I decided to tuck the little flat ride here into its own little mountain, and instead of using the roughen tool to get all the effect that I want, I'm going to use rocks, and I'm going to place the rocks. And the rocks, I love placing the rocks. I think the rocks are, you know, they do take a little bit of time. As my computer decides to try and update the drivers, just turn that off. So yes, I understand the drivers need to be updated. I'm doing a Planet Coaster video. Please go away, Mr. Alienware. Anyway, where were we? All right. So you can see here, starting to roughen up the area, but don't fret, we are going to use rock placement to finish the detailing off for this whole area. And while I place all these rocks, I can talk through a few of my ideas for the parks. By the way, this effort will be not just regarding the not just regarding the flat ride here, but also to the right of the flat ride, where we've got the log flume. We start to really start to detail that out. So the idea there is a volcano, and it's interesting here because I'm using two different types of rocks in two different areas. At the end of it, I'm not 100%. By the way, grass placement. Yes. We love grass placement. I mean, it's breathing life into me and the park. So yeah, look at the grass placement. Freaking awesome. I'm so wrapped that I got it. It's just finishing off the park nicely. Anyway, that's enough about grass placement. So I end up using two different rock types. So I use a red type of rock in this area, and then I use a black rock over near just here where we can see the volcano. It's that sort of slightly darker grey rocks, not black, but slightly darker. I've got to try and tie these two rocks in together because they're right next to each other, but it's almost like the pathways divided these two rock formations, and natural rocks or different types of rocks have been exposed depending on how far they've cut through when they made the park. I think that's my explanation for, how that kind of works. But then again, it's a theme park, and maybe it's just the case that we didn't want this here and we didn't want that there, but they're inside of each other. And yeah, I do like the way we can place these rocks and then find that the shapes that you get for them are just so, because sometimes you only get 20% of a rock showing, or sometimes you get a lot more, but when you rotate them you get these when you start putting rocks on top of rocks, you do get this real sort of strong play. I mean, it really is going to tank on the piece count. It's gonna make the piece count quite high, but I think the mandate for this park was build, and I think that's sort of, rather than just terraforming and roughening, I think, which is that was my first park, that previous one, and I knew that the second park would be more about building, and this helps me to learn on how to build on Planet Coaster. I think I need to build more houses, and my next project is going to be, when I say houses, I'm talking buildings. My next project is going to involve quite a few buildings, and there's a little bit more of that to come. So self-built buildings, not sort of placed down from the Steam Workshop. Again, I'm not overly worried. I haven't placed a lot from the Steam Workshop on this park, but I think I grabbed drinks. I think in between episodes I might have grabbed a little drink stand off the Steam Workshop, and I'll credit that in one of the upcoming videos as well, but I do put that just near the entrance area at some point. But yeah, we can sort of see here. So I do like here that we've got a bit of a forested area happening on the right hand side of the path, and then on the left hand side of the path, those rhododendrons, well, remembering that was going to be rhododendrons, the brick fence, and then it was going to be a street, and originally, that was just going to be a lot of streets behind, because it was all going to be like that for theme park. It's going to be that I wanted the backlots to be kind of right there. So that, yeah, you walk in, there's the ride section, there's backlot section. Where do we go? What do we do? And it's all a bit meandering. But I've gone back to a more traditional theme park setting here, where you see a mountain in the background. You see a little bit of a hill, and it's got lots of this fake rock that the theme park spent ages putting in. And I think that piques people's interests. I think that makes people kind of want to go explore around there. Now, I'm trying to also incorporate the red rock setting into the streets, into this street setting. And I think on either side of this, I'm going to go with tunnel portals, and I think I'm going to do, actual tunnels. I'm going to do lovely stone facade tunnels, entrances, and maybe just sort of, make the inside of the tunnel look like a tunnel in depth, and put some lights in there, and just make that kind of nice. So in a future episode, I will do that. Covering up a lot of the pylons, and the pylons. I'm also, I do go and thin out the tree side on the left-hand side as we look here, and look at the grass. I mean, I'm going to do this now. Every time I place grass for quite a while, I'm going to be all fanboying over the grass, because I love it. It's helped me here. This sign, pathetic, absolutely pathetic. This sign, so this is a placeholder sign. I'm going to go around, and in an episode, I'm going to sign the whole park out. I think I need to use letters to create some of the some of the signs and build using basic art shapes and build signs that way and light them, especially for the main sign. And I think the main sign is going to be floating in the what is it? In the fountain, but not the fountain outside, not the fountain outside the hotel, the big fountain, the big square fountain inside in the plaza. So I think that's going to kind of go there. I'm not overly thrilled with the planter boxes that I've put in there as well. I find them obtrusive and a bit strange, and it tended to be going a bit jungly. As you walk in and look to the right-hand side of the park and you're looking over to this area, it was jungly. I don't think it's going to be jungly. I think that's too reminiscent of the previous park. And, I like to think that this park was made by the same people who made that previous park, and they come a long way. I think it's a different setting, and we don't want to fall into the traps of what they did at the previous park. The lava, freaking brilliant, by the way. I love the lava. I know it's a pain to put in. It seems to be easier than the water. The steam here is helping as well, and we do expand on the steam. You can actually see here, this is the second rock type that I'll be using, and it was the original rock type in the log flume ride. I do incorporate some of the red rocks onto the log flume side, and I do put some of these dark rocks onto the Ursula, shall we call it the Ursula side of things. So we can just think this is a volcanic eruption, and maybe the story is that the original rock, the red rock, is dominant throughout the park, but this is lava that's come up through the ground and then set, and so this is why there's a separate type of rock that's extruding, and lava flows that have been set, and that's the backstory basically. The steam vents really do help tell a story. Now don't forget, the idea of this volcanic eruption is not so much to gain the attention of the people who come around that main path. It's more the ending of it's for the people who've been on the log flume. So they go into the log flume, they go up the chain lift, they go inside the mountain. As they come out, they go into the old temple, and that's where all the action happens. They get a bit of a look through just on that curve there that's sitting up top, and they get a bit of a look at. Then they go through into the temple, and then everything happens in the temple. They go up a final couple of climbs, then they do their big drop, and the big drop's just here on the left. Just on the big drop, I'm not happy with where the water level's sitting. It's sitting about a metre out of the water, and so at some point I do drop that one down, so it sits nice and low into there. After they come out that big drop, they get into this little log flume side on the right hand side that you can see at the moment, and this is where they're coming up to the volcano, and it looks like it's a little bit like, oh, what, hang on, there's a volcano eruption ahead, why are we still going? It's this sort of storytelling. So remember, the volcano will be visible to some people, but the steam and the interaction and how close you get to the volcano is for the amusement of the people on the log flume, not so much for the people on the path, and not so much for the people who are in the queue for the log flume. But of course, they will see little bits and pieces of it. They'll see, they'll have a bit of a look out and see it and think, oh, that's brilliant. So I think that's all pretty cool. I do have the main mountain that the log flume goes through, and I'm not convinced 100% that that's where it's going to finish up. I don't want this ride to take forever to create, this log flume ride, but I think it's going to be one of those ones where it is a bit of a work in progress, and I need to wait until I've decided on what I want to build, because when I go ahead and build some things that I haven't quite thought through and hasn't captured my attention, I tend to leave things half finished. So I do want to actually finish it off, and it will be all adventure pack. It'll be not all, but it'll be a lot of adventure pack. Just trying to tie these rocks in on either side of the path, and I think eventually we kind of get there. I think it needs to soften with a few cacti as well. And we will place those cacti at another point. Now, if we have a look here, we can see that I'm also starting to, make this water a bit deeper and get the rock interaction happening. And I haven't really thought about what I want to do with the splash section, but there's always a possibility that around the splash section, I think picnic tables and a little eatery area is always good because they can look at that, and it's a little area where people can wait for the brave people who are going on the ride. So we will see how that goes. That'll be in a future episode. But a lot of this is, rock placement, and then some steam vent placement and things like that. And with the steam vents, we grab the existing steam vents and we just copy those across. So you can just see me here just sort of moving some steam up and making that effect happen a bit. I actually grabbed some of the lava and dropped that down a bit because I want the lava to go closer to the log flume. Some of the rocks are also going through the log flume. Here I'm having memories of waterfalls, it's going a little bit crazy. On this spinning ride that's around the back there, you've got that green spinning ride, the claw thing. It's not really a claw, but that you get it, the one that's just there on the right hand side. I think I might change the colour of it. I don't mind that it's a green, a belt of green, and that this thing is green too because it ties in with its environment. I wonder if maybe the opposing colour can be like black or red or something that's different. So we will see it. We'll possibly look at recolouring that. You can see with the log flume, I changed the colour of the log, of the whatever carries the water. The what would we call that that carries the water? It's not pooling or no, whatever the log flume sits in, but that's got that lovely sort of red rusty look to it. And most of my paths so far have that as well because I like that they tie in nicely. Bit of a boardwalk thing happening here, and yeah. So next episode, just a little teaser, but next episode we're going to make some quite big changes to the front of the park and what we thought was the front of the park. So just have keep in mind there that in the next episode we will be making quite a few changes out the front of the park, and also at the of course that means the hotel entrance. And seeing whether or not that's fit for purpose and is exactly where we want to be. But yeah, I think I have to say I think it's a unique looking setup of the park, and I am happy with how it doesn't resemble anything else I've seen. I've watched a lot of Planet Coaster videos. I've watched a lot of Studios Pack. There's a lot of Art Deco happening, and I'm, in no way slagging it off. I mean, the way Masked Bandit builds some of this Art Deco stuff is ridiculous. Rudy Recamel building Art Deco for Delay Designers studio entrance was phenomenal. And there's quite a lot out there that is just amazing, and it gives new YouTubers like myself inspiration and confidence, and I like that. These people are doing us a huge favour just by sharing their art, and I wake up every morning and check what Planet Coaster videos are out, and I keep finding YouTubers that I listen to once and don't listen to for a while. Then I come back to them and I go back and listen to their entire back catalogue, and I love that. This is, of course, my reasoning for going on when I only have 20 subscribers and I've been going for 6 months or whatever it is, and I'm just kind of getting there. My idea is that I want to build a catalogue, and that if I ever get a little bit more traction, as it were, I think that's the appropriate wording, but if I get a bit more traction on YouTube ever, then I want people to be able to come back and go, cool, this is great, we've got all this, and it's starting to we've actually got stuff that we can go back and see what he did. So this area here would specifically be, those trees will be cleared out, but this area would be the boundary between these three areas, really, because you've got right where we're looking at this land here, that is literally where that log flume is, that is literally our temple. And I think the temple's going to be a step pyramid of some description. So that's pretty cool. And lots of special effects and rock walls moving away just in time so it can go through and stuff. Look how steep that log flume is. That's a ripper. I like the idea of covering up the track supports as well. I don't know, I'm finding that really cool. I'm doing that in different parts and in my practice games, and it's nice just they're there now, but will they be there when the building's put around? Maybe not. So I think that's cool. Yeah, so I hope you're enjoying this series. We're coming along. It is a nice slow build. Planet Coaster is about to release a new DLC, some sort of vintage pack, and that's 4 days away at the moment, 4.5 here in Australia. But yeah, so I hope you're enjoying the series. Here's a bit of a look through the park, and we're just tinkering around here, and I think removing rhododendrons and tying these two areas in together, and we're going to come back and put those tunnel entrances in as well, so it looks like they're coming in and out of the town via a tunnel. I think that'll work quite nicely. Don't forget to hit the like button. Please leave me a comment. I'd love to hear it. Any comments, just if you're enjoying, if you're not enjoying, any suggestions, if you want something renamed, anything. I really appreciate comments. There's a few people leaving comments, and I appreciate it so much. It's really nice. And don't forget to subscribe, and feel free to share my videos. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you in the super exciting next episode, where we're going to make some big changes to the way guests enter this studio, Sunset Studios. So I hope you're having a good day, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.